Hello, welcome back to another video in the series. So this is the last video we'll be doing. It's pretty much the last video we'll be doing talking about control. Yes, we've been talking about controls and we've seen all the different types of loop and even the branching statement. Now, for your information, the branching statement is the if statement and the switch statement, while the other ones are known as loops. While the block does not have any of those case associated with it. So the block can be associated with any of the statement, but the block does not have any specific kind of control in a way. But the block is just more like the simplest form of control you can have in a program. In real life application, you see that we structure our application with the use of block, because when we create a new method, we have to include a block, and that block is what is known as the body of the method. We're looking at method and functions and subroutines in the future. All these terms are the same, just that you have different names for them. Now we have to take a look at the break statement and the continuous statement. You recall that the previous syntax we were having with before the release of JDK 17 was something was this, not really something like this, but this itself. Control Z, all of this stuff. Remember Alt J after you finish highlighting, just replace with whatever you want. So this is it. Now with the break state, we recall that immediately it got to case to the valid case, it executed all the other cases that is associated with it. Let's take a look again. So I run the program since I've changed the syntax to the newly released syntax, and I'll run the program. And you can see the first alphabet in the English letter is found and the location of the alphabet was not found. So you see it executed both cases, and this is not really what we want in our application. This is not what we want at all. What with the use of the break statement, we'll be able to break out of the switch statement before it immediately the case is found, instead of it going further to execute other cases that are below that case. Now, for that, since we will be including break statement, we have to highlight the whole of these and start from this point. Also G, 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 and let me do this sheet. Oh, I think it should be like this. Then, okay. Then I want to have the break statement. And that is it. So this is a break statement. I just did everything so fast, but I'll explain what I did here. So this is a break statement. Immediately it gets to the valid expression, it is going to break out after I finish printing out this. So it will break out of the switch statement. So that is basically what the switch statement is all about. That is basically what the break statement is about. Now this is how to use the break statement with the switch control system, that is the switch branching system. We can use the break statement with for loops, do while loop, and even while loops. So let me type this in. I'll run the program. Once again, you'll see that with the old syntax, we always have to include the break statement to break out of the valid switch condition. And you see the first alphabet in English letters is found, but the default case was not executed this time around. So you see how the new syntax that was introduced in the Java JDK 17 helped us fix this issue, the issue of using the break statement every time when we are making use of the switch branching system in our application. Now this is just a simple case of the break statement with switch. Now I want to highlight the whole of this stuff and I'll comment them out. Comment them out and I want a while loop. Now what I want this while loop to do is immediately it gets its first immediately it sees the first prime number, it should break out of this while loop. So I have a value of int j is equal to 10, and this time I will be doing a decrement and not an increment. So while j is is greater than 0, and in fact it's greater than 1, I want you to check if it's a prime number, and if it's a prime number, simply just break out of the loop, else continue doing what you are doing, continue with the loop. And that is what we are going to do now is check if j mod 2 equals 0 and j is not equal to 2 first, or j mod 3 equals 0. Let me just fill it out. So we have a printf statement that says the first prime number is found, and that number is plus j, and that should be 7, I believe, because we are going down. And let me check the whole of this one. Let me see what intelligence is telling us. So you see it's always true. Okay, all I have to do is replicate that in this point. So I think this should fix it. Oh, my bad. Now I made an error at this point, and that is the fact that I'm breaking out of this statement at this point, and it's not supposed to be like that. Yes, I should break out, and then I print this stuff. Control C, that should be it. And yes, this is what we have. Let me explain what I just did here. Okay. I'm checking if this value is prime with the use of the if statement. If this value is not prime, and if it is not prime, simply decrement the value of j and then go back to the beginning of the loop. But immediately you find out that the value is prime, then print out the prime number that was found and break out of the while loop. So you see, this will never get to a value of 0. But if I remove this s part, you see that it will get to a value of 1, because I'm going to print out the last value of j with this s part. So I'll run the program. And you can see the first prime number that is found is 7. I can just change this word. See, that was found is 7, because we have 10, 9, 8, and 7 was the next number, because we are going down from 10 to 1. But if I had removed this break statement, I wanted all the prime numbers between 10 and 1, you discover that at the end of the day, we'll be printing out all the prime numbers between 10 and 1. So instead of the first, I'll just say the prime numbers. Prime numbers that are found. Prime numbers that are found. Should be printed out on each line where we have the prime number, or I can say the prime number found. So prime number found. Now run the program. And this is pretty much going to be in a loop. I will explain why it will be in a loop. I just saw I made the little, I didn't make the necessary updates in the program. So I'm going to stop the program now. And yes, because I stopped the program, finish it and exit code. This is just so simple. The reason is because my update was inside of this first if statement, and I didn't associate it with this next else statement. So I'm just going to copy the whole of this and Control X to cut it out and place it outside of the if else block. So this statement is part of the while block and not part of any of these statements right here. So it executes the if block, does nothing, and skip the s part, decrement the value. So this time around, the issue of an infinite loop should be gone. So that is programming for you. Sometimes you make slight errors, you make slight mistakes, sometimes you forget some things, but with constant practice, it becomes a part of you and you always remember. So we have prime number found 7, prime number found 5, prime number found 3 and 2 also. So that brings us to the end of the break statement. Now let us look at what the continue statement. Now I don't want to print out the prime number. Immediately I find the prime number, I want to continue the loop. Yes, that is basically what we'll be doing now. But I want to print out all the values that are not prime. So I can print out the value of j to the space, and that is it. Now for this s part, all I have to just do is say j minus minus, and before that I will include a continue statement, and that is it. Okay, it's on reach. Okay, because the continue statement is going to get executed before before the update of the G variable. So that is why I had that error before. So the continue statement is supposed to come below the update of the value of the G variable. Now, when I run this program this time around, you discover that it only prints out values that are not prime, starting from 10 all the way down to 0. Now, if a number is prime, like 7, 5, 3, and 2, they won't be printed out on the console because that is how this program has been configured to work. Now, this is with the use of a while loop. You can also use the continue statement with any of the previous statements we've looked at, except for the switch statement. I don't think you can make use of the continue statement for the switch statement. And yes, I'll run the program again. And we have 10, 9, 8, 6, and 4, while the rest of the other numbers were not being included. That is 2, 3, 5, and 7, because those numbers are prime numbers. So this is what the continuous statement does. When it checks and sees that, oh, this if statement did not pass on, it simply did something, that is reduce the value of G and continue. When it continues, it means that it went back to the beginning of the loop and checks for the condition again. So if, for instance, I have my continuous statement at this point, this else part, if a print line statement is associated with this else part, it will not get executed. Or perhaps if there is a statement at this end, let me show you. I'll print out no number is not prime. Not a prime number. I want to give a space. So when it prints out, let me remove this one instead. When it executes this block, you see that it will print is not a prime number because this prime number is part of the while block. So it executes the if the evaluation of from the relational expression here turns out to be true, it's going to print out the statement in the if block, and then it will move further to execute the other statements in the program, which is the printing out of is not a prime number and also the update of the control variable. So that is how it will work. But in the case of this else part, it won't print out this value because immediately it executes the update of the control variable, it is going to continue, and this continue keyword simply means that it is going to go back to the start of the loop, checks for the condition again and execute it. Let's take a look at the program in action. So here we have it. 10 is not a prime number, 9 is not a prime number, and so on and so forth. So we immediately it gets to this continue, it didn't execute any of those statements. But however, if I am to delete this continue statement, you will discover that at the end of the day, and even this update statement, and I run the program, you see that it's going to print out all the values, all of these values. But in the case where we get to a prime number, it won't print it out, but it's going to print out is not a prime number on the bottom with a space at the very first edge. So this is what I was trying to say. So you can see this is the space of 7, 5, 3, and 2. Because there was no continuous statement again in the program, you see it went on to execute the next lines of code after the else part. So that is how the continuous statement works. The continuous statement simply tells the program, okay, go back to the beginning of the loop. So that is how it works. Yes, we have seen break and control statement, and break and continuous statement, which are also part of the control statement. And I believe you have enough understanding on how to structure your program. And in the next section, we'll be looking at much more basic concepts such as method and so on and so forth. But stick around, and I want you to get the information and be a good programmer. Now we've come to the end of this video. Please, if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, I'm appealing to you. Please do so. Subscribe to this channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Click that bell icon so that whenever I upload videos, you get notified. And also, stick around for the next one. Peace out, and I'll catch you in the next one.